When will Lamar Jackson's contract extension domino fall? Obviously, he is worthy and eligible, and certainly it could be in the works behind the scenes in terms of where things are at. Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh have been asked about it a number of times in recent months at their various media press conference availabilities. And what we know based on the offseason that has been is that Josh Allen and the Bills have provided a floor. It's a 6-year, $330 million contract extension. That's what Josh earned back in March. It included $250 million guaranteed. That's the largest guarantee an NFL franchise has ever given a player. I think we can probably all agree, given the resumes, given the seasons that these two respective players are coming off, and given Lamar's importance and how the market works, this is the floor. Eric DeCosta, Ravens general manager, caught up with Mike Bordick and Jerry Coleman on their Baltimore baseball podcast recently within the last week or so and provided an update on where things stand. Here he is.
Talking with him right now about things or just letting things lie as they are?
Well, we've had some conversations before the draft, after the draft, in person last week. I think we're in the introductory sort of stage of looking at what an extension might look like. We've got a lot of business that we're conducting with different players, and we're in a situation where we're blessed to have most of the team coming back. But as we look out over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we're trying to keep as many good players as we can. So we've got some guys that we feel like have the chance to really be prolific players for us that can be here a long time. We're trying to get as many of those guys signed up as possible. That's a big challenge, and Lamar's certainly a big part of that, but there are other players as well.
Did you guys catch that in the beginning? Just in case you didn't, let's rewind this quickly after Jerry asked the question, because Eric sort of said it under his breath. And while there isn't anything that's overly substantive in terms of where things stand, the fact that there are in-person conversations that have been had as recently as last week got to be an encouraging sign with where they're at. Again, listen to that once more.
We've had some conversations before the draft, after the draft, in person last week. I think we're in the introductory sort of stage of looking at what an extension might look like.
Okay. All right. I mean, look, bottom line is when you look at the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, Lamar is a bargain. We have seen throughout the last 7 years what Lamar is, and I should say what the Ravens are with and without Lamar. They are borderline not even contending for the postseason without Lamar Jackson. Now, given that King Henry is here now, I could say earlier on in his career, in the Greg Roman era, I could probably confidently tell you that this would not be a postseason team without Lamar. Now, I'd like to think they'd be able to squeak in as a wild card team, but then again, they're in one of the most rigid, stiffest, most difficult divisions in all of football, and that is the AFC North. The reality is, as these deals tend to be, right? At this point in Lamar's contract that he signed back in 2023, he is a bargain. He is the 9th highest paid player in terms of average annual salary, okay, at $52 million. Dak Prescott leads the way in Dallas at $60. Josh Allen and Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow and Jordan Love are all in that second chair, interlocked at $55 million. Tua is paid more on an average annual basis than Lamar at 53.1. Jared Goff, 53. Justin Herbert, 52.5. I think we all know where Lamar Jackson deserves to be, and I think we all know where Lamar will ultimately end up. Josh Allen leapfrogged a number of players from 14th to 2nd in terms of average annual value, given his massive extension. And so I think moving forward, again, Josh Allen and his contract has provided a floor. And while there isn't anything concrete that Eric DeCosta has been willing to reveal, the fact that they've had conversations pre-draft, the fact that they've had conversations post-draft, they've had in-person conversations as recently as last week. Could this be a sign that things are starting to ramp up a little bit and perhaps they hope to get something done prior to the season? We all know the reality of the way this deal is structured. And if you don't remember off the top of your head, I'll give it to you right now. Lamar signed a 5-year, $260 million deal with $185 guaranteed, 23 offseason, right? We all remember that. He was the highest paid player at the time. Didn't last long. At $52 million annually, again, 9 overall, top 9 in terms of average annual value amongst his peers. In 25, he's got a salary cap hit of $43.5 million. Okay, that's according to Over the Cap. If this extension talks were to linger and he were to, theoretically, this cannot happen, but theoretically, if he were to play 2026 under the current contract extension, or I should say, the extension that he was awarded in 23, his cap hit would skyrocket to 74.5 for 26. It's not optimal. It's not feasible. It's not doable. Makes zero sense. Lamar's number one priority when it comes to eligible candidates for this extension. Obviously, Kyle Hamilton is at the top of that list. You would think Tyler Linderbaum is up there. Isaiah Likely is up there after his contract season. We'll see what happens to Mark Andrews. I'd have to think he's going to, if he puts forth a similar year to what he put forth this past year, then somebody's going to be willing to pay him maybe more than what the Ravens would be willing to do. So, and there are others out there as well, by the way, on both sides of the ball that you're looking at. And if you're Eric DeCosta, you're really starting to allocate or have future visions in terms of, all right, let's set some money aside, or let's set plans aside for our priorities when it comes to future eligible extension candidates. Lamar's at the top of the list. Josh Allen has provided the floor for that deal. This is going to get done at some point, and I wonder if this is just the latest parceling here, the latest little tidbit to suggest that it could be coming soon prior to the 2025 season. We'll see. Hang on tight. A guy that, if he continues the hot start that he's had throughout the beginning of his young career, could very well be somebody that's a candidate, somebody that is coveted, somebody that is prioritized around, is Nate Wiggins, the second-year cornerback, of course, out of Clemson, the first rounder from a year ago. And how about this from the 33rd team? They ranked rookies with the most havoc plays in 24. And Nate Wiggins found himself on this list with 15. And some pretty darn good company, by the way, above and below him. Havoc stats, combined several disruptive defensive plays, sacks, forced fumbles, interceptions, tackles for a loss, and passes defensed. That is havoc plays. That's how it's defined. Nate Wiggins, by the way, in terms of overall goals, he wants a whole lot more of these havoc plays. Listen to what he told the guys on the lounge earlier this week. Fearless.
Get 10 plus turnover, no matter like interceptions, forced fumbles.
10?
Yeah, I need 10 plus.
That would be a hell of a year.
Yeah, that's a high one. And really just keep on what I did last year. Just my coverage wise, be all around cornerback, showing up in the run, covering. So yeah, this year I feel like it's gonna be good.
Did you guys catch that in the beginning? Nate Wiggins kind of putting his not bulletin board material, but whatever's on his bulletin board or whatever is on his goal list. He's just straight up talking about it. Listen to that once more.
Just really get 10 plus turnover, no matter like interceptions, forced fumbles.
10?
Yeah, I need 10 plus.
10 plus. 10 plus. This guy's like shooting for the moon. You got to love that. But again, the most havoc plays in 24 kind of leads you to believe that that lofty goal is absolutely within reach for number 2. 15 havoc plays. Again, Edgerrin Cooper among rookies had 21. Nate Wiggins, right in the middle of this really impressive pack of young rookies from their first year last year. How about target EPA leaders among corners for the 24 season? Take a look. Nate Wiggins led the way at minus 28.4. Cooper DeJean, one of the heroes from the Super Bowl for Philadelphia on this list. Paulson Adebo, Pat Surtain, arguably the best top corner in the entire league. Marlon Humphrey on this list. And that kind of all of a sudden brings you to some of the lists that are out there, right? Perhaps that are overlooking the duo that Wiggins and Humphrey could become for a second consecutive season. Because John Costco of PFF does not have Marlon and Nate among his top cornerback duo rankings around the league. Notably, they are left off this list. Obviously, there's plenty to choose from. You got Stingley and Lassiter in Houston, Benford and Johnson in Buffalo, DeJean and Mitchell, tremendous young players in Philly, Witherspoon and Woolen in Seattle, so on and so forth. So will they get that kind of recognition that they potentially deserve? Maybe. Maybe. Wiggins was one of just 3 defensive backs last season to be targeted 50-plus times and allow 0 touchdowns. Thanks, Ravens Nation Live, for taking care of business on that one. And oh, by the way, while there were, of course, a fair share of issues on the back end last year when it comes to the pass defense, on paper, you'd like to think they're going to be able to have a darn good chance of picking up where they left off last year. Yes, no Ardarius Washington, but this guy who PFF believes is the number 1 rated safety league-wide, as long as he's out there, you got yourself a chance to be an elite defense. Kyle Hamilton, a top 10. And what I mean by top 10, he's top 2 and he's not 2. Kyle Hamilton, according to Zoltan here, the top overall safety in the entire land. Pretty good company and a pretty good list to be chilling on top of if you're number 14. It's been a minute since I looked at the live chat. It's been a minute since I looked at what's going on in the super chat section. So let's get back to it before we get to quick hits and maybe even one more thing. I think, God King, I got you in there, right? I did. So we're at 567 in terms of overall members. Appreciate you, God King. DreDog679 says, when you go bargain shopping at skill positions, you get bargain results. Hopefully Lamar can kick it up yet another level with mid-tier talent. Tila brings us to 572. Appreciate you, Tila. Thank you. You and Chris going blow for blow today. Got to love it. 572. And King Lee shows up and he says, hey, I'm going to get you to 573. So in other words, we are closing in on that 600 number, which I didn't necessarily expect to land on this Thursday. We haven't landed there yet, but maybe we do before it's all said and done. Holly says, got to thank Tila Girl for the membership gift. Oh, that's nice. Because you guys are tight as it is, and then you just so happen to be randomly involved on the receiving end, which is awesome. Douglas H. Brown Sr. says, we're working you, Bobby. Sarah would be proud of you. Yeah, there's over 1,500 comments in there. I mean, it's absurd. You can't do it all at the same time, unfortunately. Dre Dog says Lamar's $70 million per year. Hope he gets all that. Hold that. Lady Laura Baltimore says, to the best fan base family, I thank you. We are a family because we want to be. And Bobby, you are doing a good job. The ladies are growing in here. Uh-oh. The ladies are growing in here. First it was the Minx to Cutie. Or Minx to Cutie. Then it was Tila. I'm not sure if this is chronological or not. Then it was Chris. Then it was Holly. Then it was Mimi Ray making a play yesterday. Who else am I missing? Quite a few. Sherry. I haven't seen Sherry in a long time. Who else? Jang. Man, I could probably just start ripping these off if I wanted to, but who else am I missing out there? That's cool, though. And now I'm actually scrolling. Oh, no. You guys are incredible. You are really, Really incredible. You know that? I'm reading some of these now. Not a fan writes, don't read the chat, Bobby. Taurus is spraying baby oil all over the place and soliciting Diddy Party subscriptions. I kind of want to hop into the chat. Taurus, you've been acting a fool lately, haven't you, you Texas boy? Freaking guy. 573 out from Voltrons. From, I should say, 600 Voltrons. Back to Super Chats, back to gift giving, if it continues. If the run continues, I should say, in just a bit.